of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah.
Hey, it's Ann Perry. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about what do repeating numbers in your chart mean. So what does that mean to you? Well, maybe you have a life path number of a 2 and you have a heart's desire number of 2. That would be 2 core numbers out of 4 that are the same. And that means your chart is out of balance. So let's find out what we can do to help ourselves if we have an unbalanced chart. But first of all, let's take a look at what a balanced chart looks like. So here's an example. Jennifer has 3 core numbers in her chart. Remember, the core numbers are the life path number that comes from your date of birth, your expression number, which comes from your name on your birth certificate, your heart's desire number, also from your name on your birth certificate, and your birthday. So Jennifer has a life path number of a 1, and that means that she's got really good leadership potential, right? She's the inventor, she's the creator, she's someone that can put herself out there, and she's very driven. Nice solid life path number. But she's got a nice balance here because her expression number, where her talents lie, is a 2, which is allowing her to be sensitive to the needs of other people. Even though she's very driven, she's still able to be very sensitive to the needs of others. The heart's desire number in her case is a 3, which allows her to be joyful, not quite so driven as the life path number of 1 tends to be, allows her to be a little bit more joyful, a little bit more expressive, a little bit more creative. She's a little bit lighter in nature than the typical driven number 1 is. And her birthday number is a 4, which says she can get the job done because she's very focused, she's very disciplined, and she just knows how to plan things out and get things done. Okay, so what does an unbalanced chart look like? Well, an unbalanced chart has 4 core numbers in it, obviously: life path, expression, heart's desire, and birthday. So let's take a look at Harold's chart. Harold has a life path number of 6. That means that he's somebody who's very responsible, very nurturing. He's all about his family. He feels a real huge sense of responsibility to his family, and he lives by do the right thing always at all costs, right? So his expression number, where his talents lie, comes in the form of a 1. That's not such a bad place. Leadership potential. He could be someone who could run, for example, a bed and breakfast, right? Could have his own business and have the talent with which to run it, because someone who has a bed and breakfast would likely want to have a life path number of 6 because it's all about being of service to other people. His heart's desire number is also a 6. Getting a little heavy in the 6 department here, right? So again, it brings in that need, the double need to be responsible, the double need to be the nurturer, the double need to be the person who takes care of everybody else's needs but their own, okay? The birthday number is a 5 in this case, which means that he's very adaptable, he's very imaginative, and he's very changeable. That's okay. But you need to think about the double 6 energy. Somebody with a double 6 energy might be somebody who could become very resentful of the fact that they feel like they're the only ones doing anything around here. If you want to get it done, I guess I've got to be the one to do it. They're always the ones to step in. They're always the ones that home and school call to say, hey, would you bake us like 7 dozen cookies for tomorrow morning? Because we forgot to ask you, and we just know that you're the person that would do it for us. You'd never let us down, right? Sure, I'll take it on, And so it's the 6s really have a tendency to take everything on their shoulders, and then they get to a point where they get really bitter and very resentful, and they can turn into really nasty martyrs because of it. So it just becomes too heavy a demand of responsibility on them. They naturally want to take on responsibility, but when you've got double 6s there, there's that double need, and they'll tend to fall to the negative side of the 6 energy. Remember, there's a positive and a negative side to each number. So think of a chart that has double energies in it as a table that's trying to stand on 3 legs, okay? It's a table that's trying to stand on 3 legs because it's out of balance, all right? So we've got 4 core numbers. We want to make sure that each one of those numbers is balanced. In this particular case, it's not, and it happens all the time. So what do we do about that? Well, we'll talk about that a little further in here in a second. But in this case, Harold is suffering from burnout from ignoring his own needs. That's the risk that happens when we've got double 6s. So problems arising from duplicate numbers can include, if 2 core numbers are duplicated in a chart, the person's likely going to start out in their lives as young people expressing the negative aspects of the number rather than the positive ones. Okay, they're going to feel really overwhelmed by the fact they've got double the intensity of those 2 core numbers in there. So they might use the energy almost exclusively so that their lives become focused on the unbalanced approach. And remember, anything we give our energy, attention, and focus to gets bigger. So we want to make sure that we're trying to balance both sides of that. But it's tricky. And until we've got a little bit more life experience under our belts, it's not the easiest thing to do. It is, however, possible to have the positive aspect of a number to be expressed at the same time as having the negative aspect of the number being expressed. So you're dealing with teenagers who are sort of all out there, let's think of a number 3. Okay, so you've got a teenager who has double 3 energy. Well, the 3 is a very good expressive energy. It's very creative and artistic, and that's the positive side of it. But on the negative side of it, they could also be sulky and insecure and wanting their own way and just having a pity party their whole time. So, that they could be playing both cards at the same time, right? Okay, so what's common about repeating numbers? So I thought we'd do a chart up here to show you the positive and the negative side to each one of the numbers. So somebody who has a 1 in their chart, the positive side of the 1 is, of course, to be a leader, an initiator, and someone who's very independent. That's just a few things that the 1 encompasses. But the negative side of it is if they have an overwhelming number of 1s in their chart, and it could be more than 2, it could be 3, it could even be 4. I've seen that too. This could cause a person to become very dominant, very codependent, very self-centered. Okay, the opposite side of the 1 being independent would be codependent. So in the case of the 2 energy, this is somebody who's acting in the positive, would be someone very sensitive to other people's needs, very much the peacekeeper, very much the diplomat. Okay, but when they're overwhelmed by too much 2 energy in their chart, they can become hypersensitive, can be very shy, uncertain, isolated, they withdraw within themselves. The 3s are typically very warm, friendly, creatively expressive people. They're very imaginative, they're joyful, they're a lot of fun to be around. But when there's too much 3 energy in the chart, they can have scattered energy, they can become very insecure and very antisocial. The 4s are the planners. They're very disciplined, they're very focused, they're very practical, very grounded kind of people, but too much 4 energy can produce somebody who's very inflexible, very stubborn, very limited in their thinking. Everything's black and white their way, and they have a very large problem with an attitude of gratitude and living their lives with an attitude of abundance. Okay. The 5 energy are people who are very versatile. They're very flexible, they're very easygoing, they're adaptable to change, they love change, they thrive on change, they're very clever people. But when there's too much 5 energy going on, they can become very overindulgent, very unsettled, scattered in their energy, very ungrounded, no fun to be around. The 6s, as we talked about earlier, very responsible people. They're very nurturing, very sympathetic, very kind. They want to be of service to people, but when there's too much 6 energy going on, they become perfectionists, idealists to an extreme, very critical, very demanding, especially of their families. The 7s are very introspective, very analytical, very spiritual and studious. That's me, remember, I'm the 7, just in case you forgot. And however, the 7s can be very aloof. We can be very much the lone wolves. We're very deep thinkers. We suffer a lot of self-doubt, and we can be very self-critical. The 8s, these guys are very ambitious people. They're very confident, they're dependable, they're successful. They're usually in administrative or managerial type positions. But on the negative side of the 8, they can become way too focused on the money. Very power hungry, very authoritative, very much the bullies, and they can become very, very impatient. The 9 energy is all about the humanitarian, the selfless service, social activist, very romantic. These guys are very romantic. They're the healers, right? They just have a real interest in fixing people and helping people. But on the negative side of the 9, they can become very suspicious, very jealous, very resentful, frustrated with humanity overall, and really just disappointed in life in general. Now, you might be wondering around the 11s and the 22s. The 11 and the 22s, even the 33s, for example, you need to duplicate the energy relating to their base number, which in the case of the 11 would be a 2, and in the case of the 22 would be a 4. So if you are, for example, you have 2 11s in your chart, then you might be exceedingly hypersensitive, exceedingly shy, exceedingly uncertain, and very isolated. Likewise, the 22 4s might be excessively inflexible and stubborn and limited in your thinking and, your way or the highway kind of thing, and just very fixed in your thought process. So it is possible to learn to balance both energies, but it's going to take a little time to do that. Duplicate energies are difficult, but they're not impossible, okay? You got to remember that you chose what's in your chart. Remember, you created your soul's contract, right? You chose your date of birth based on the lessons you wanted to learn, and you communicated the energy of your name, of your full name, your expression number, if you will. You communicated that to whomever would name you in this lifetime. Okay, so these are of your choosing, okay? So the fact that you chose them means that you're well capable of being able to handle them, but maybe you just need a little bit more life experience to be able to do it well. So here's a tip. If you take the concept that you choose to work in either the positive or the negative or both aspects at any given time, then you no longer can be a victim, right? Life isn't hard anymore. Life might be hard because you choose to make it hard, okay? So we always have to remember that. I'm a big believer in choose and choice, and our reality is created based on the choices that we make for ourselves, okay? So choose to work in the positive if you don't want to feel the negative. It's really quite simple. Here's another tip. By adding together the two duplicate numbers and reducing them to a single number, you're going to reach the energy necessary to work in the positive so that you'll be able to overcome the negative aspect. So, for example, remember Harold. Harold had the 2 6s going on in his core numbers. So let's add 6 and 6 together. It comes to 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So by using the positive side of the 3 energy, which is joyful expression, just a positive individual with a really good outlook on life, he's going to begin to lighten his excessive need to be responsible while reducing the opportunity for him to feel like somebody's doormat. Okay? All right, that's it. Short and sweet today. I really hope that you'll keep in touch. I love creating community. I really like to know what's going on and what your thoughts are, what you think of this video. Any ideas for any upcoming videos, love to hear them. You can check me out at AnnPerryNumerologist.com. I have a blog there that you can read on. I have a really good resources page, all kinds of really cool information there. I'm going to have some upcoming courses coming up, so if you're interested in online learning, let me know. It's coming. I'm working on it now. It's coming. And of course, I got a Facebook page. You're welcome to check out my Facebook page. I have something new on there every single day, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and maybe share it with somebody else that might be interested as well. It's my purpose in life to turn every one of you guys into numerology keeners. So I hope you enjoy having a bit of fun, because I do too. And there's a special on my website now. If you're interested in having a reading, I'd love to connect with you personally. There's not a whole lot of numerologists out there that will meet with you one-on-one. I'm that girl. I don't want to just send you out a chart. That's not my idea of a good time. So I refuse to send out somebody just a written chart. If you're going to get any kind of coaching from me, it'll be one-on-one, and I promise it's affordable. And you might be interested in connecting. I'd love to meet you. So further to that, I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'm hoping you're having an amazing day. Take care. Bye for now.